The Widow of Thermopylae, a Spartan woman, sat alone in her house, patiently waiting. Her loom lay silent, its threads hanging like the lifeless hopes of her people. 3 days had passed since her husband, Leonidas, king of Sparta, left with 300 of their finest warriors to stand at the hot gates against the invading Persians. Each day she watched from the top of the city wall as they repelled wave after wave of the Persian army, their shields forming an unbreakable wave of red as they fought to the death. But now, 3 days later, the fighting had stopped. Where were the Spartans? Had they won? Had they lost? Then she did something that had never been done before in Sparta. She took her son to the Agoge, the training ground where young Spartan boys were turned into fierce warriors, and she forced the master to train her son to be an even fiercer warrior. For when her son was old enough to take his place among the 300, he would lead them into battle against the Persians and avenge his father and the other Spartan warriors who died at Thermopylae. She went down the wall to the agora, the marketplace, where women gathered to gossip and trade news. But even here, no one knew the outcome of the battle. It was one of the surviving Spartans, haggard and covered in the blood and dust of battle. He had come to tell her of her husband's fate. Leonidas and his 300 warriors had held the pass against the Persians, but they were all dead. The Persian king had offered them all a noble death, but refused to let their bodies be taken back to Sparta for proper burial. They were to be left unburied on the battlefield as a warning to any who would oppose the might of the Persian Empire. The only sounds were the mournful cries of doves and the rustling of worried women. There was no hope of raising an army to take on the Persians. No one but her husband and his 300 warriors had survived the battle. She was left with nothing but her grief and the prophecy that her son, who was away at war with the Argives, would return home to find his father dead and his city destroyed. Would her son avenge his father and liberate their people from Persian domination, or would he, too, die at the hot gates? Still, there was work to be done, so she returned home. She would wait another day, and then, if there was still no news, she would go to the temple and pray to the gods for guidance. But that night, as she lay alone in her dark house, a lone figure crept through her window. Her heart broke, but what was to be done? When her son returned to Sparta, she told him of the great battle and of his father's sacrifice.